Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Abby and I'm the owner of A Couple Tumblers. And I know this video's a little late, but look how stinking cute this tumbler is. It is a cheat ombre with a little bit of a drip, and it's a bomb pop, and it even includes the little popsicle stick at the top, which you could remove and wash properly and then snap it back on with magnets. I also need your guys' help, so if you can leave me a comment down below with any recommendations on what you want to see for the upcoming week's videos, make sure to let me know because I kind of need a little bit of help. But before we get started, you guys already know what to do. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get to it. Alright, to start off this tumbler, we are going to spray paint it because we are going to be using the cheat method today for the glitter. I am going to be using Apple Red Rust-Oleum, this deep blue from Rust-Oleum as well, and a white called white from Rust-Oleum. All my spray paints are Rust-Oleum spray paints and I get them from Walmart. I believe if you get the spray paints from Walmart, they are a little bit cheaper. I realize if I buy them from Target, they're just a couple cents more, or even Hobby Lobby. So we are going to start off with the blue, and we are going to just do little bursts at the very top of the tumbler, going into the middle just a little bit. We're starting with the blue today because we are going to be making a popsicle stick. I literally just started so much over there, but we are making a popsicle stick. So I'm doing very short burst, trying to have the blue fade into the middle a little bit, and then I am going to go in with some red spray paint, doing the same thing from the top, and I'm going to do that on the bottom and also the cover at the bottom as well with this red spray paint. Doing short little bursts, make sure that I do not make sure. What is make sure? Make sure that I do not, or is it makes sure? I don't know. But anyways, this just makes sure, that doesn't even sound right. Come on, Abby, get with it. We are just going to make sure that we have no drips in our spray paint, because if you have any drips, that might show underneath the glitter when you apply it. So I'm just going to go back and forth with the red, with the white, and the blue to get a really nice gradient effect. Once the spray paint is all dry, I am going to be taking Mother of Pearl from Fairy Tale Glitter. If you haven't bought from Fairy Tale Glitter before, or if you just want to buy from Fairy Tale Glitter again, make sure to use code A Couple Tumblers at checkout to save you 5% off your purchase. And that is going to work on their entire website. To apply the glitter today, you guessed it, I am going to be using Elmer's Craft Bond Spray Adhesive. And this is my all-time favorite way to apply my glitter just because it is so fast and so easy, and it dries super quick. So I'm just going to apply the glitter all over the tumbler, and you're going to be able to see the blue, the white, and the red pop through the glitter. And once you spray this, or like spray seal it and lay epoxy on it, this is going to show all the colors very beautifully. And then after I let the spray sealer dry, I'm going to epoxy this twice, add my decal, and then epoxy it twice once more to seal the decals in. And then we are going to work on the drips and the little lid topper. After my epoxy has dried on my tumbler and my decal is all sealed, I am going to be working on the drips now. I am using Artist Resin from CCDIY. It is their low viscosity, and I'm also using Nice and Thick, also from CCDIY. Nice and Thick is a additive that you can put into your epoxy to help it thicken up, so that way you don't have to wait for your epoxy to do it itself. My honest review on CC DIY is to save your money. Granted, I did get this in a subscription box that I got a couple months ago and I've never used it. So this video is my first impression, if you want to call it. I am not a big fan of Nice and Thick because I did feel like I had to use a lot of the product. Maybe someone can comment down below and tell me if I did something wrong, but I feel like for a drip, it's just much better to wait and also not have to spend any more money on something that I could just do if I had the patience for it, which I do have the patience for it, but I wanted to try it out in this video. I just felt like I had to use a boatload of Nice and Thick to make sure that my epoxy is the consistency that I want. Speaking of consistency, if you've never done a drip before, you just want to make sure that your epoxy is thick and it's not going to be running down too fast. So what I do is I take my popsicle stick out of the epoxy and I watch it drip down into the cup. And if it drips too fast, that means that I either need to wait a little bit longer for my epoxy to thicken up, or in this case, I'm going to have to put in more Nice and Thick. Once I get my epoxy nice and thick, you see what I did there? I'm going to be using Tim Holtz alcohol ink, and it's just going to be this blue color. I really can't remember the name of it, but I'm just going to put a little bit of alcohol ink into the epoxy to match the drip because the top of the tumbler is blue. Okay, now it is time to apply your epoxy and make some drips. I'm just going to take some epoxy onto my popsicle stick and smear it along the top of my tumbler, and it is going to be very thick. And then once I get it onto the tumbler, I'm going to stand it up just a little bit, or just for a little bit, and that's going to let the epoxy drip down the cup. So you're going to go all the way around the cup, and once you have it applied, let your tumbler stand up for a little bit on its bottom, let it drip, and then you're going to flip it over to stop the drips from dripping down, and then you could flip it back over to its bottom and stand it back up. And you're going to do this a couple of times to get the drips to where you want it to be. If your drips don't drip too much because you made your epoxy a little bit too thick, you could just take your popsicle stick like I did in this video and help the drips down the tumbler just a little bit. And once the epoxy stops moving, you can go ahead and pop it onto your turner to let it dry. I spin it. I don't really know if you need to spin it, but I do, just to make sure that the epoxy stays where it needs to be. I also do not seal my epoxy drips just because I like that 3D look, and I never had a problem with it. Now that my drips are done and waiting to dry, I'm going to work on the lid topper. We're going to be using these crystal mini discs. I got these from Hobby Lobby in the flower section, and we're going to be using these jumbo popsicle sticks. I am just going to take my popsicle stick and cut off just a little bit from it to put it into the coaster. And we're also going to be using the crystal mini disc to give this topper a little bit more dimension, because you know when your popsicle starts to drip a little bit or starts to melt, it isn't a smooth base. So hence the reason why we're putting a little bit of the mini disc in there to give it like a little bubbly effect, to give it kind of like a melted look at the top, because we did add the drips. If we didn't add the drips, then I would have just left this coaster how it is and just add the popsicle stick into there. And then once this is all dry, we are going to put on some magnets. I didn't film that part because I just put the magnets on with some UV resin and then also attach the magnets to the lid with some UV resin. And that is basically the rest of this tumbler, and I am obsessed with it. Also, if you are having a hard time with balancing your popsicle stick into the coaster, you can go ahead and cut off a little sliver of the other side of the popsicle stick that you just cut from and make a little base. So I made a little base, and then I put my popsicle stick on top of the base and put UV resin on there and just put my popsicle stick stand thing that I just created underneath a light or my UV light to make sure that it cures, and then I'll just slip it into the coaster so that way my popsicle stick can stand up. I did that after this video because I realized that just having a popsicle stick into the coaster itself is not going to stand on its own, and I wanted it to be sturdy. And then also, after this video, I will epoxy the popsicle stick itself so that way it is safe from any water or damage. And there you have it, a bomb pop, a drip tumbler, a cheat ombre tumbler, and a simple lid topper. I believe anyone could do this. It is super fun and super simple. You could put your own twist on it. And if you recreate this tumbler, make sure to tag me so I can see it. And if you have any questions or have something that you want to see next, make sure to leave me a comment down below. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already so you don't miss out on a video. And I'll try to see you guys next week. Bye!